Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network. For the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews, press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
Congratulations. On behalf of the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, and the Schmoes know, you are now a member of the Jedi Alliance. May the Force be with you, always.
Thanks so much for that, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Hello, Star Wars fans. Welcome to Popcorn Talk's Jedi Alliance. And yes, this is the podcast that you are looking for. This is a celebration of the greatest saga ever told, and the best people to talk about Star Wars are true Star Wars fans, and we've got a whole panel of them on this show.
It is a full panel today, but first, let's welcome back Maude Garrett from traveling around the galaxy again. You keep leaving us, but you're back. We're so glad to have you back.
I went into Middle Earth this time.
Ooh.
Yes.
A whole other genre.
Gave
All right.
Tolkien a bit of a, high five to the face, and then came back here to talk Star Wars.
Nice. We're so glad you're back. This is going to be a fun episode. We've got two great people. Let's just dive in and introduce them right now. One is returning to the show. We had him on early on. He's a great friend of mine. He's the editor-in-chief of schmoesknow.com. Co-host with Jeff Snyder of Meet the Movie Press here on the Popcorn Talk Network. Our very own Mark McFacterson Reilly.
Hey, thanks for the canned applause, JT. Is it Return of the Jedi?
It's Return of the Reilly.
Like me, Return of the Reilly?
Wearing your bad robot, your bad droid shirt today.
This is my mashup. I figure we're going to talk some episode 7. So, bad robot, but bad droid.
Oh, they're making one? They're making a new Star Wars.
They're making a new Star Wars,
A new Star Wars?
Yeah.
According to George Lucas, I don't think he knows, though.
So more on that soon for Renewed Hope.
Oh.
And then absolutely, we've got another guest here making his debut.
Oh my. Oh my.
He is one of the main forces behind Drama 3-4 Productions. They've got something they're going to talk about here today too as well, something new coming out. Also behind I Hate My 30s, a show on VH1 you might recall. And the man who directed and helped is a word, soft word to say. He really was a driving force between a great series of videos we did about this time last year, which Schmoes Know and Drama 3-4, about the uncut, unseen footage from episode 7 auditions.
Yes, the screen tests.
Yes.
Yes.
As it were.
It's lovely to be here.
Yeah. David Fickas,
nice.
everybody. Welcome, David Fickas.
Thank you. Thank you.
And let's talk about the big elephant in the room, the fact that you're wearing Star Wars...
I'm wearing bed sheets.
Bed sheets.
I am. I'm pretty sure there is a 7-year-old who one day peed on this. No, I found this I got the Tatooine shirt. I got the bed sheet. It's rare that I get to really go full Star Wars, but I also got the...
you got the Vans shoes on, buddy.
The Vans.
Look at
Can
this.
I do that?
They are nothing short of beautiful.
And limber.
Yeah. What I like...
I got my limber legs on.
...is he showed up in another pair of shoes and then Mr. Rogered into these Vans.
Well,
nice.
and Rick Barbera from this episode 7 auditions, he works for Vans, and he made this happen. So shout out to him for.
Wait a minute, you mean I can contact Rick?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm texting him right now.
All right, let's put some orders in.
I also have feet.
Great.
Nice.
It's gonna be a Christmas here at Jedi Alliance.
So we've got so much to talk about on Jedi Alliance
special.
today.
We made that mistake once with Star Wars. We shouldn't really do a Christmas special again.
Right. We've got so much to talk about, so much to catch up on. We had a great episode last week with Christian and Mark from Schmoes Know talking about the teaser trailer, 88 Seconds of Gold. Maude called in from London at like 11 p.m. their time.
I was frazzled. But
yeah,
yes.
a little bit. So there was so much there to talk about, but we're going to dive in. We want to get to know Mr. Fickas with the 5 most important Star Wars questions. Yes. Reilly had already answered these fondly and finely.
I did.
As I'm saying there. So we're going to dive in with you, Mr. Fickas. These are the 5 most important questions to determine what kind of Star Wars fan are you. We know you are one, but...
Is this my buzzer here?
That's
do
your
I do
buzzer,
this?
the Darth Vader.
Okay, I'm ready.
So let's go.
Fickas, tell us about your first time watching Star Wars.
You know, it's interesting. I should say, because I did see the first Star Wars in theaters. I am of that age, but I was 3, so I don't have a real specific memory of seeing the first one. But the second one was one of the first movies that I was able to go see alone with my brother. It was just me and my brother, so we got to sit in the front because I was pretty young, but he was a little older. And I remember that memory of Empire Strikes Back more, and that was really incredible. At the same time, I did feel, not that I knew what this was at the time, but I felt a little blue-balled. Like, I remember going, oh, they're going to go get Han. They're going to go save him. And it was like a cutoff.
Yeah,
and I, for a long time, it took me a long time to kind of get over that kind of cliffhanger. Like, that Empire actually is, arguably.
3 years time.
Yeah, 3 years, and that was hard.
Eternity
that was
for
hard.
a kid.
Yeah.
It's same with me. Yeah,
but the first one, I've seen a gazillion times, but the first memory of it, a lot of my friends were like, oh, I saw it at a drive-in, and
that was my memory.
Yeah, my buddy Toby always talks about seeing that at a drive-in, but I was like, I don't think I went to the drive-in, but they re-released it. They would do it for birthdays, and I'd seen it, like that in Raiders. I remember seeing
a lot in theater
later, like in the second release.
Yeah, Lucas released it there too, and we were talking off air too. I as I've been saying all day, I've just finished the book, How Star Wars Conquered the Universe, and how Lucas's first change, the first special edition, was actually the first weekend Star Wars came out. He wanted new audio recorded, so it's been in his DNA the whole time. We're going to talk about that later on. We're going to do a book review of that at some point in the coming weeks.
What's your favorite movie out of those, though? Empire?
Here's my theory on that. Star Wars is my favorite movie.
Okay.
The Empire is the most crafted and put together film, and I think everybody gives it the kind of like, oh, it's the B-side, the deep B-side cut movie.
Yeah.
But Star Wars, in my opinion, like nothing happens without the original being as good as it was. And there's kind of like, special edition aside, but all the kind of like scabs of the original I think is really wonderful, like the stormtrooper hitting his head. Like there's all these like I was talking about the Sand People cut where it's like a reverse footage, and there's shots that they use twice, and like you can tell that there's so much like passion and blood and sweat, especially in the effects, and that's the one that started everything. So there's Empire can't be as good.
It seems like Empire gave you trust issues as well.
Yeah, a little bit. And then, like, in Return of the Jedi, which I think is glorious, and I know I'm on a Star Wars podcast, so, like, being a film critiquer is a little tricky, but, like, you can smell, the end with the Ewoks. Like, when it was supposed to be Wookiees.
Right.
You can kind of smell, like, let's go for the kids, which
is why I ate it up.
It was a gateway drug to Jar Jar, and but so I would say that it's not out of the three, I think Jedi is the weakest of the three, but they're all glorious. They're all glorious people at home.
Let's remove your disdain from this, because you actually have proved to us that you know the Yub Nub song.
Yes.
I do know.
Can you break it out a little bit?
I can do the first line. I can't do. We in a sketch show for Ass, for another Showcase Showdown. It was an old show in our sketch show that we used to do, and we closed the whole show by learning the entire Yub Nub song, and it was Yub Nub. Wait, now I'm screwing it up. I'm on the spot.
Cue it up.
What's the first line?
Chica.
I don't know the lyrics. Topi Chikin, Ganoop Dog Fling, ooh ah.
There you go.
And then it's like Yow Wow, Chi Chop Yow Wow, and then I don't remember the rest after that.
Oh my god.
But Topi Chichin, Ganoop Dog Fling, ooh ah.
We had to learn that too for the Star Wars in 30.
Yeah.
When we did a celebration. So that was bringing back memories to me. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the hologram thing where we shot some stuff. I've been fortunate to shoot some Star Wars inspired things.
Did it break your heart when the special editions came out and then that song was gone, or like me, I kind of was like, oh, the new song's good. I can go back and listen to the old one, but
I think the special edition, now when you think about it, having had the prequels and how people mostly feel about the prequels, I should say, like that actually hurt the special edition more, because you realize it was like, oh, this is what's building up to this thing, and so I mean, I didn't love that, but now when I think of the movie, I know I need to watch the originals. Like, it's really hard for me to watch them because it just takes me out of it. But again, there's a whole generation of people who didn't see those.
This is the first, the Yub Nub thing to me. You had to explain it to me, and I would have seen it when I watched Star Wars for the first time. Back when I was I kid, but now I'm so ingrained to what we're set with now. Mind you, apart from the Hayden Christensen being Anakin, like that's painful.
That so much.
Yeah.
Well, you're 19, Maude, so I mean, it's like we understand how.
Thank you.
But it's interesting because that's kind of what Lucas wanted. He wanted to erase each edition behind him, and this becomes what it is. So
but the thing is, like, he's publicly making these mistakes that he thinks he has to fix. But it's like, no, we loved this. Why do you keep changing
the scabs, the mistakes, the imperfections? I think are great.
Endearing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got personality, and when you polish that, you water.
You have prequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite character you can share with us now?
You know, I was always an R2-D2. Like growing up.
We did a lot of that.
I was always growing up with my brother, so we always had to do paired Halloween costumes. So he was Batman, I was Robin, and he was taller, so he was 3PO, and I was R2-D2. So I always really connected to R2-D2 in many ways. You know, and I always, you know, the fact that R2-D2 is like, screw you, I'm going this way. And then gets shot. I mean, there like that moment when he gets shot and falls over is like, I think you have. I mean, everyone's like, and it's really, you know, a hunk of plastic that we all are like, oh my God, is he okay? He doesn't even. He speaks in beeps, and so I would say R2 is probably my favorite.
I didn't even know that.
Really?
I've known you a long time.
And Luke, you know, you gotta love. I loved Luke growing up.
And you do a good Luke, so you know.
With the blast shield.
But yeah, we don't get a lot of R2, and I like that because that character has so much personality and those little beeps and goops and blops.
And he's in every movie and will continue to be in every single movie, and he plays a pivotal role.
He was the only good thing in The Phantom Menace.
Oh,
yeah,
in my
when
opinion.
they called him out of the bullpen.
Yeah, when they called him out of the bullpen, and of course he's the only one that makes it.
I have to say though, that was rough. Like they just slaughtered like
the droids were blowing up, but of course R2's not going to get it.
Well, and we all knew that.
Yeah,
we're like, oh, R2's going to be
I thought
fine.
it was a fitting
it was a great
reveal for
for
the character we all know and
They
love.
do such a good job with R2, and I heard one theory that you know, we always hear that Lucas that they're supposed to be in all 6. And they're kind of the stories a little bit told through his eyes. You know, the original concept of Journal of the Wills, which is what the Adventures of Luke Skywalker Part 1 from the Journal of the Wills, that it actually might be that 3PO and R2 are essentially the Journal of the Wills telling the story hundreds of years ahead. It's
funny because when the prequels came out, I was so excited for that to be they were kind of the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern who were expectating the whole thing and weren't completely involved. And R2, in my opinion, was always the guy who knew everything. So he was the one who didn't tell everybody everything, but knew everything.
Yeah.
And when the prequels didn't like start from there, I mean, I was just waiting for R2 to be, you know, Amidala's from the beginning, and he knows everything, and he's the one who tells 3P or whatever. Yeah. And they didn't
like that
stick
better.
with that. Oh yeah, I've worked out all kinds of ways that, you know, episode 1 should have worked. I was like, it's so easy.
Every fan in the world has.
It's so easy. You just go Romeo and Juliet. They're like young lovers. You know, they recruit this guy. It's so, you know, we can't love because we're Jedis, but we want to anyway.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
And the sand. Don't forget about the sand.
And the sand.
It gets everywhere.
I hate sand. Or whatever.
It gets everywhere.
Like sand to an hourglass.
That's why you have to cut to like a scene like somewhere before Jedi where he's like dusting himself off, like because Darth Vader just hates himself. There's just like a compressed air, just like. That's why he doesn't go to Tatooine. You know, you never see Darth at Tatooine.
Oh, that's why Luke was safe. They knew that Annie hated sand.
They're like, well, we gotta go.
Now it makes sense.
He had no problem going to. He marched right into Hoth.
Right?
Mind blown.
Right? You're right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Tatooine is a purely Vader-free zone.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh my God.
Because it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow. We just uncovered
solved
the
the problem. We solved
the prequels.
The prequels are a little bit better now.
What's your favorite Force power?
My favorite Force power? I mean, I think just grabbing shit. I mean, can I say that? I mean, really,
you can
just
say
like,
grabbing.
I mean, how many? Like, you know, when he first did that in Empire to kill the Wampa. I mean, come on, that was like. And I always actually thought he had an extra finger. You know that one shot where he's hanging upside down and there's like a piece of clothing going, and I always thought like he was doing something with his pinky. And it's a weird. I stuck with that for a long time, and now when I see it as an adult, I'm like, oh, that's just his hat. But so I always thought it was this at one point when he did that move. But I think just being able to grab stuff. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
The lazy man's way.
Yeah. Well, and there's also. You know, it's debate that jump. Some of those jumps in Empire, like, is he flying? Cool. Like, what's he doing? Like, so
it's like the double tap jump.
Yeah, it's interesting to know how that power works because some of the video games, like Super Nintendo, you could do some double tap jumps, and I was like, I didn't know that was a Force power.
In Force Unleashed, you can kind of float for a while.
Yeah,
my tactic to try to get high. I can't jump well with. I'm not coordinated enough.
I just liked Force Unleashed. It was like anything strapped to a wall, you're just like whoosh.
Yeah.
Use that a lot. And then the electricity. I like to choke.
I want to know from you though. There's a lot of
what are we talking about?
The dark side. Great quotes in Star Wars. Which ones do you find yourself using in day-to-day conversation?
with the blast shield down, I can't even see. How am I supposed to fight? Actually, you know what I do? I quote more than anything is Uncle Owen going, Luke!
That's Aunt Beru.
Luke! No, it's Uncle Owen and then Aunt Beru. He comes in and goes, have you seen Luke this morning? It's like how he went down.
Oh,
Luke. She does the
Oh, that's the first one. You're right. That's the first one, Aunt Beru.
So then we can have a duel. We can have a duel.
He goes like, Luke!
Oh,
yeah.
Luke!
Have you
seen Luke? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's...
He said he was going to go down to the Tashi station to pick up some power converters.
Yeah.
You better have those droids. Yeah. So I find myself going, Luke, more than anything. But you're right. That's actually, they both do that.
That's Aunt Beru.
Nice.
We're learning.
I almost was going to say Aunt Beru's my favorite character. the deepest cut character, this was always in the action figures, was Prune Face. Do you remember Prune Face?
Yeah.
It's I can't find. He's in Jedi somewhere in the loading dock or whatever. But there's a full figure of a guy, and then I was like, he's got no character, no lines. He's in the background, but let's call him Prune Face. I think that's very strange.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of figures like that, and then they gave a lot of them names after the fact that they weren't named on set, but someone had to go.
There's somebody at
Lucasfilm or
Kenner who's just like Prune Face. Sure, Chief Sherpa. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. Whatever. Yeah. He was like a bird, right? I don't know.
Chief Sherpa. That's right.
Final question, Mr. Fickas, is a pretty simple one, but it cuts deep.
Okay.
Would you ever turn to the dark side of the Force?
Would I turn to no, I can't do that. You can't do that.
Good boy.
I'm a good boy.
That was my answer,
I have
too.
to like.
That was mine too. You're the only evil one.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get tempted and learn enough of the dark side, but then use it. Then use it. Like when you, but know when to pull back and not, cut your dad in house.
You're pure of soul. We can respect that.
I gotta be. That's
outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll accept these answers. He's goody two-shoes here at the table with me.
In our Jedi thing, that's why you were wearing the Darth Vader helmet.
I was
wearing the laser tag helmet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was a rebel.
Doing my Vader, having the gloves.
Mm-hmm. Well, they are the top 5 questions. If you actually haven't jumped on board to Facebook and given us your top 5s, listen to the show, figure out what they are, and hit us up on the Facebook page and let us know, because everyone has done that. Every Jedi has gone through this process, so we want to hear yours too.
Absolutely. And join us on the Facebook page, like she said, or on Twitter at Jedi Alliance SK. Don't forget our Instagram page, Jedi Alliance, where exclusive photos taken.
Stop, pause!
I just did that. Oh, wait, what?
That's awesome.
What happened?
Welcome to Star Pause. This is our weekly surprise Star Wars trivia question, Mr. Fickas. You are now on my team.
Excellent.
She has
That's
challenged
not
me.
good for you, Maude.
She has challenged
really?
me.
Yeah.
We don't know the current score, though, do we?
This is a funny thing, no, because last time we played was 2 weeks ago, and I never yelled Star Pause, which meant you couldn't get any points. But I not only got a clean slate and got 6 out of 6, but I got 1 bonus point. So whatever the last score was, I am 7 up.
It is. We are adding 1 point. It is 55 to 51.
Woo!
Nice.
Okay.
It's almost a
55. Last week, Maude did not call us. She did not give me the chance to play, and a lot of people were writing in like that's not fair. I got to say, I respect her scoundrel gameplay here.
I don't know. I think that was a really low blow, but there you go.
Would you call it a dark side kind of move that you
that's
did?
why I
like scoundrel.
Yeah.
It's something maybe Han Solo would do.
I thought it was her taking her journey toward the dark
Oh,
side.
one
I'm
step
I'm going to choose
closer.
this card.
Okay, I'll see if we've done it before.
Yeah,
So we have about 2 minutes to you and I to answer. We can.
Okay.
No, you're not. You're going to choose another card.
I'm going to choose another card.
Oh, is it a crazy hard one?
No, we've already done that one.
Oh. Because some of these are
This
crazy
is my
hard.
favorite
Okay.
bit on the show.
Okay, here we go.
Do you want to read them?
Oh, am I reading?
Yeah,
okay,
you're
so
reading.
just the top.
Yep.
Who asked Luke to stay on Tatooine for 1 more season?
That'd be Uncle Owen.
Yeah, Uncle Owen.
Ding. Correct.
Or large.
It's only 1 more season.
Yeah.
We'll have enough after the harvest.
Question number 2.
What's a whole other year?
What did the Sorry. What did the Death Star's officer conclude about the Falcon when he was unable to find any life forms aboard?
Oh, I know that. Wait. It's
There's no life forms more. They must have
jettisoned.
They must have jettisoned before the tractor beam got them.
Yeah, they jettisoned before. Do we need to say
This
it
is a good
perfectly?
one. Yeah, you're
It's
not. You're
jettisoned
kind of not in the ballpark.
Before takeoff. Wait, what?
They must abandon ship before takeoff.
No, they jettisoned before takeoff.
What did the
no.
Death Star's officer conclude about the
man.
Falcon?
Guys, that's not a
Not
point.
a smuggler. Is it a
That's
smuggler?
not
Yeah,
getting
it's not.
this.
No.
All right.
Sorry, guys.
No, wait. So wait, we were talking about the crew. Hold on. Stop Wars.
Star Pause on Star Pause.
That's not how this game works, guys.
So read the question again, because we were talking about the crew, not.
What did the Death Star's officer conclude about the Falcon when he was unable to find any life forms
The
aboard?
crew must have something
I think we're going down the wrong road.
Yeah,
it's not jettison before or after takeoff.
No, I'm sorry, guys.
Abandon ship.
Think about it.
No,
you're right.
No, we're done.
5,
We're done.
4.
It was a decoy.
It must
have been a decoy, sir. Remember that?
I will say, I think the next line is...
Yeah.
Must have been a decoy, sir.
I'm going to go home and watch that right now. I don't doubt you, but that's deep.
I'm telling you, jettison is like 7 words after decoy.
It's very true. Very true. Who told Luke size matters not?
That would
his first girlfriend?
No. Leia? Is that Leia?
Leia?
Right?
Yoda.
This was before it went Lone Star?
Yes. 2 out of 3. Yes, you are correct.
Right.
How many entrances to the Endor control bunker are mentioned in Return of the Jedi?
Ooh.
How many entrances
Just one?
to the Endor control bunker are mentioned in Return of the Jedi?
I'm going to say 2 because they're going to the front and then the Ewok takes them to the back door.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
2.
right.
Final answer?
2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Nice.
So that's 1 port. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Which side of C-3PO's chest did the Jawas attach a restraining bolt to?
He cleans it.
Yes.
Left side.
Left.
The
right!
Ooh.
Oh, man.
What? Luke
I thought it was
Armstrong-
right, too. I thought you were right, too.
I did too. I swear it's on this side.
Wow.
God,
Did you shoot that in a mirror?
We're all going to be going home and watching New
a
Hope
mirror.
after this.
Absolutely. All right. Final one.
And what did the character known as Minch in the first draft of The Empire Strikes Back evolve into?
Minch?
Yoda.
Yes!
Wow.
I would
I
never
didn't
have
know
got
that.
that.
No,
Oh,
that's...
you're on my team.
Wait,
Yeah.
how? Explain that. That's a deep
Because he's like the Minch,
Minch, and then for a while his name was Minch Yoda.
Yes.
And then
Minch
it
Yoda.
became just
like
Yoda.
Mensch,
Yeah.
or Minch. I mean,
M-I-N-C-H.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Minch
that's
Yoda.
4 from 6, bringing your
4
total
from
to
6.
59.
59.
Yeah, I could have done better for you.
It's okay. Now, you know what? I'm glad we got some tough questions there.
You haven't destroyed the set yet, though, and that's
There's
something
a
that
lot
I
of
have
carbon
done.
scoring in here. You boys have seen a lot of action.
well, with the
You know, with the
redundant-
rebelling against the Empire, we could do it all day. So now
Especially since
is
size matters not.
the return
I think that's Godzilla, right?
of renewed hope.
Yes.
This is our segment. This is
Nude
the
help? What's nude help?
Renewed
Oh,
hope.
this is my segment.
This is the
gonna get weird.
JT's laughing in there because I don't know what's going on.
Because he's high.
Yeah,
Because it's 5 a.m. and he's ready for it.
there's a little bubble in there. This is Renewed Hope, our weekly look at this week in Star Wars news. We took a week off from it last week because the news was the trailer. But returning to the news desk is our queen, Amidala, who will now
I will
address her
address
people.
my people. Thank you very much,
Oh, man.
Master Kenobi.
This is awesome.
Can I be Keira Knightley standing behind you?
Yes, but only if you pout the
Yeah.
whole time. The Force Awakens teaser trailer has reached 100 million views. 100 million. Yes, official at Star Wars did tweet this one out going, thank you, hashtag Star Wars fans, for 100 million global views of our hashtag The Force Awakens teaser. Hashtag impressive. Most impressive.
That's awesome.
Now, the trailer only came out around 10 days ago. The internet blew up from that. I know that my reaction is hitting nearly 30,000.
Yeah.
And then the compilation is like 170,000 views. That's like some of the biggest things I've ever been a part of. And it was by accident, which was pretty cool. Now, Jonathan Holmes from Radio Times put this into perspective. The clip, the teaser is 88 seconds long. So, by our calculations, fans have watched it for a cumulative total of 279 years.
Wow.
That is enough to watch the first 6 episodes of the saga 180,000 times.
Wow.
So that's like time caught up. So a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
We're
Yeah,
there.
This
now
many
we're there.
years now, we've done it.
Yeah.
We've closed the gap.
We're there.
Nice.
Now, someone that hasn't seen it, which could be taking a lot of people by surprise, George Lucas, has not seen this teaser.
Wow.
Now, the reason behind it isn't as startling and salacious as
Right.
most people are trying to make it out to be. He simply does not want to watch it on a small screen. He wants to see it in the cinema, in the big theater.
He's talking about the whole movie, right?
No, I think the trailer too,
He
right?
hasn't seen the trailer.
Well, no, I know he hasn't seen the trailer, but I thought I read his quote was he wanted to go see the movie and that be the first time he sees anything.
That makes sense.
Oh,
That'd
Yeah.
be interesting. I mean,
that
for
makes
him.
sense.
And
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because he brought out the initial movies and they all had trailers.
Well, what he said is, I am the only person in the world who hasn't seen Star Wars like you folks have had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wanted to go see it experience like that.
Wow, like a consumer for the very first time. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
I admire that.
I feel like he didn't.
Take that.
I feel like he didn't watch Phantom Menace either.
Even during the shooting, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Story number 2, we've got Oscar Isaac talks about the CGI and practical effects use in Star Wars and weighs in on the racial reaction that it caused. So IGN's very own Roth Cornett actually used her time with Oscar Isaac. When we have junkets, you sit down with the stars. I've had this before when I was interviewing Adam Driver, and I didn't say anything, and I regret it. The only thing that I whispered as I went past was, "Good luck with Star Wars." That was it. But she actually asked him about the trailer. Yes, he's in that. He is strapped up into the X-Wing, and wanted to talk about what he thought the CGI and the practical effects, because everyone's kind of thinking they're doing a really good job with that, with, you know, kind of like combining the two. He said there was just so much love poured into the movie and so much care. The thing is, though, when you rely on the latest technology to tell your story, and that's it, that dates. Now, JTE got the box set of the movies, and this weekend, last weekend, sorry, you watched them. What did you say about Phantom Menace? You just told us all before we started filming.
I just couldn't believe how bad these special effects are. Even for like that time period, you look at Jurassic Park, which was years before.
And that's practical effects.
It's practical and CGI, and it looks amazing.
They're flocking this way.
Yeah, and I'm watching the new, it just does not hold up whatsoever. They go back and fix all this other stuff. Go back and fix special effects. That's all I'm saying.
You know, I had a moment watching Revenge of the Sith when there's like one shot, and I was actually thinking about this the other day and laughing about the fact that this is an actual thing I can say, is the scene where Yoda and Jimmy Smits are walking down the hall, but it cuts to the ship in the beginning of
10 of 4, yeah.
And they're in a practical set and walking down the hall, and I remember just going, there it is. Like, where? Why now? Why now? It was like hour, 4 into Revenge of
that was probably the only scene in the whole prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Because it's walking in front of green screens. There's a lot of that. Just walking.
When I heard Harrison Ford broke his leg by a door, I was like, an actual door? It's like, this is great. I mean, sorry, I hope you're okay. But this is an actual heavy door that can break a leg. This is exciting.
I love hearing this stuff. I love hearing that the love poured into it. That everyone knew what they were doing.
And Henson, right? Henson doing things, right? Isn't
Jim Henson?
Jim Henson?
Henson Studios?
Jim Henson. Is Henson Studios doing something?
I don't know.
Remember when JJ did his reach out?
And
there was a Henson
dark crystal-like creature behind it.
Yeah, there was a Henson
Makes sense,
something.
unless it's ILM itself. But.
I don't know. Internet audience?
YouTube comments, tell us.
Yeah, let us know. Oscar Isaac also said that it was like his childhood dream because he was on the set, surrounded by the actual people. He's talking to Anthony Daniels, seeing him getting suited up. Peter Mayhew putting on the suit again. He said that whole experience was incredible. He also responded about the racial controversy that is surrounding Boyega playing a stormtrooper, and he has a similar response as John Boyega did. He addressed it going, "Yes, I'm a stormtrooper. Get used to it." And Oscar Isaac is on the same path going, it's a perfect way of revealing who's racist all of a sudden. And he was having a big laugh about this. He goes, that's what I loved about the trailer too. It's like giant middle finger, because the first thing that you see right off the bat is John's face. Bam! So you just have to deal with it.
Yeah. What's that an issue?
I think if you're a Star Wars fan, it's not about, like, the only race that really matters is an alien race, Is it the Celestians coming in from the, that's kind of the only real thing. And even then, apart from Nin Num, because I can't stand him.
There's some hints at some strange.
Yeah, that's another.
I won't go into that comedic routine without, but
I don't like Nin Num because, he could be perceived to be based on. I don't like Nin Num because he has that wet bottom lip. His lips are moist, and he's laughing, and it's just. If
you turn his head sideways. Never mind. Sorry.
I think that's where we all were thinking. Yeah,
Sweet.
It was one of my closing stand-up bits for years. Was that
that very bit?
Yeah. Yes.
That very that 10 Num.
But I can't believe because what the world is at times and what people are. Social media reveals a lot about thoughts that shouldn't be, and the fact that the people would have an issue with Boyega. I love it. I love that he's
My problem is, it was like, everyone was so scared of him. It's like, no, he jumps out of nowhere. Everyone's jumping because it was a jump moment.
Yeah, and they were having you look to the horizon. That's the oldest cinema trick in the book. Like, look far away. I mean, Grover did that to me a lot, growing up. It's annoying that. But is it the people that are like, oh no, it's supposed to be the stormtroopers that are the clones? Like, because that phased out, right? There was
it did.
There is a wave of people being like, I thought they were clones, and that's like, oh Did you watch all of this?
The original show? No.
The original show,
and he would have. I said this, I think, on the main show. He would have gone back and fixed the voices of the stormtroopers like he did Boba Fett.
Had he done that?
Had he wanted them to be clones.
Yeah.
But
And how does a
Good point.
stormtrooper hit his head on the top if they're all the same size? They would have all collectively hit
there
their
you go.
heads.
Yeah.
Because one was taller.
Absolutely.
There you go. All right. Story number 3. The first pages from Marvel's Star Wars #1 is revealed, and Padme, little Amidala, thinks that it looks bloody awesome.
So good.
This is sexy,
great.
guys. Now, not only is this Marvel's very first edition, Dark Horse did a great job with the series, but now it is time for a new ruler of the galaxy. This is the first 3 interior pages by John Cassaday from Star Wars #1. It will be arriving January 14th. 2015, which is really, really close, guys. This is an exclusive on StarWars.com, and the comics is set. I wouldn't mind seeing a cartoon as well. Anyway, quietly, it's set directly after the events of Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. The series, sorry, can't say my S's. All of a sudden, helmed by the all-star creative team of writers, which is Jason Aaron and the artist John Cassaday. Will be the flagship of Marvel's new line of comics. So, what actually happened following the destruction of the Death Star? This is what you will find out in this series. Now, comicbook.com has learnt that the upcoming series will sell over 1 million copies, and it will become the top-selling single-issue comic book of the last 20 years. What do you guys think of John Cassaday's art?
Go back one, JT. Can you do that? I want to know, like, look at, R2-D2 got sick.
Yeah, he's had a big night.
He's very, yeah. I think that's what Ken said Josh McCouga does.
Yeah, it's the morning after the celebration of blowing up the first Death Star.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
He's
That's
hungover.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the look of this series. I'm excited for it, like everyone. It's already on my pull list at my shop. The other covers are great. They have a lot of alternative bands. Smashing Pumpkins.
Alternate.
Yeah, the Emperor.
Alternate titles. The Luke Skywalker one with the figure cover.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of great things going on.
I saw the Emperor. It was like you just see his hand.
Oh wow.
Like he's sitting on his throne, and Vader's coming up to him, and it's stormtroopers everywhere. It's beautiful. This art is beautiful.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
am in. I mean, I just wish it was out now. I'd buy it.
We were on the fence about you, Mark, but it turns out you're in.
Yeah,
It's like he's so in. I love it.
Yeah.
He's so committed.
It's
great.
Yeah, I don't know about Star Wars.
Surprise! I like it.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to get it in a hard copy though. I need a physical copy in my hand. I want to turn the pages.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
We were talking about how we tried to get onto sort of like the digital copies of comics, and it's just not the same.
I don't like
It's
it.
collectibles, and you can't collect. You know, if
Put them
it's
on
a
frame,
collectible.
hold them, read them. Yeah, the Dark Horse series was great. I'm excited to see what Marvel can do, because they carried the flame of Star Wars during the 70s with their comic series. It was one of the reasons Marvel was still around by the time the 80s came, was the success of the Marvel series, first series, which had some weird stuff. It had created that character that was like a bunny rabbit.
Yeah.
Not everything was perfect, but it was the original, so I'm glad it's back home.
Now, another story that we haven't mentioned, but Fickas, you kind of wanted to draw it to everyone's attention. SNL finally did a very funny sketch, and this is based on The Force Awakens. So make sure you YouTube it, have a Google.
It's funny.
That one's great because it's saying that, there are the new Star Wars, and then there's the old, and it's something that Jedis can't actually control, and that's the aging process. So you kind of see Leia, Luke, and Han, and Han Solo. I can't do it. A whole lot older. There it is. Yeah,
Rumble.
You can do it better than me.
It's well.
Do you do Han?
I don't do Han too well, but I love Bobby Moynihan as Princess Leia with the glasses.
This is really good.
Taron Killam doing Han Solo. We were talking. We know some of the people behind some
and
of it.
Alex Buono, who shoots all the SNL stuff, who's a USC guy as well as Mark and I.
Wow.
So it kind of goes. There's some like deep USC roots in that as well.
And one of the writers of the sketches is Mikey Day, who I was a old groundling friend of mine who was a USC guy. UCLA guy. Little rivalry there, but they've been killing it with that. And then
that's how Star Wars, all UCLA and SC with Francis Ford Coppola.
Yeah, absolutely. Coppola and Lucas battling there too. But they just know they're from our generation. They've got this down. The Guardians of the Galaxy one they did earlier. earlier that ended with all the
was
Star Wars
great.
characters walking down. They're on point, and
I just like seeing Chris Pratt as Leia quietly.
which was awesome. And this was very poignant because we all, as much as we love the trailer, we all got that question. Oh, what's that first time we see?
Oh man, but
I can't wait for that.
The minute I saw Mark Hamill's beard, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's good. That's
really
really
right.
good."
Yeah.
But I also had a
Was it
question.
really good?
It was good. It was a good beard. No, it was very to
Obi-Wan.
see him turn into Obi-Wan. And
Yeah.
does that mean in 800 years he's going to be Yoda? He can't.
I think that's what
Does
happens.
he get to?
Yeah.
Is that how it is? Because I
think
want
that-
that Jedi. I want to
maybe.
change my answer on the Jedi power. I want to be 800.
800.
Is that?
Not so good will you look.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So check it out on Saturday Night Live. You can find
Yeah, on
it
Hulu, I think it's really
very
funny.
very funny. Good job.
Love it.
Now, last week, because you were doing the dissection of the teaser trailer, we didn't get a Duel of the Fates. So we have nothing to report back on from last week, but we are going to talk about a Duel of the Fates for this week. And this
That's
one's pretty
right.
Cool.
The last Duel of Fates we did was Where Would You Rather Vacation, which
Yeah.
was Naboo or Alderaan, and we have to go count and see who won. I think most of the votes were for Naboo because people didn't want to be in Alderaan when it blew up.
That makes sense.
I think
was
that's
fair.
yeah.
Can I get a time
Yeah.
frame? Is
Yeah.
it before?
So like maybe a timeshare.
Yeah,
on-
maybe a
on
timeshare
Alderaan,
and all that.
and you're off that weekend.
Well, let's go around the table quickly. Where
Yeah.
would you rather vacate? Would you rather go to Alderaan or Naboo?
No, I do Naboo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Can
I love the that it was shot in Italy, and I love
Yeah.
Italy, so there's that kind of thing that. So yeah, Naboo.
My problem is I just didn't want to go in the water.
No, I wouldn't go in the water because I hate Gungans.
Yeah.
He's allergic.
Racist.
Yeah. See, there was racism deep in the Phantom Menace. I just want to go skiing at Hoth. I think they have the great slopes.
You're
I
just
think
going
there's some
there,
good
huh?
stuff. Yeah. I actually, do we know what Alderaan looks like that
Yeah.
much?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I have
End
not
of
seen.
Sith.
You could have skied there.
I could have
Yes.
skied
In
there.
the Sith,
Yeah,
but
it
also
has
some of the
to-
games. It's very
right, end of
foresty,
Sith.
snow, mountain ranges.
So
yeah.
does Jimmy Smits take me there? Do I
Yes.
get like a first round?
Absolutely.
I want a tour of Jimmy Smits. I just want to go to Hoth. I think the snow's cool.
Take the Star Tour.
Yeah,
over to
I'm
Hoth.
gonna go there.
Well, this week we have
Which
a
was not
very
a choice.
interesting Duel of Fates. I thought long and hard for this one. I thought I found the two perfect people to debate this one.
I love this one.
It is who is the better assistant, Lobot or Bib Fortuna? I put it to you, the panel. The better assistant, Lobot to Lando Calrissian on Bespin Cloud City, or Bib Fortuna, he of Jabba's palace.
Hey-cha! What is this like?
All right, go, Mon. Ladies first.
I'm going to go Lobot. Only because he is wired into the mainframe of the entire Cloud City. So he doesn't, and the best part about him being an assistant, he doesn't talk. Because he has all that,
Is this
the
Lobot?
mainframe is in his
Yeah.
head.
Does this work for
That's
Lobot?
it, yeah,
Is that
yeah.
what he oh, there we go. There. There's a picture of
He's
it.
got so much information happening
There we
that he
are.
actually can barely talk, and he uses his brain to, have this control.
Yeah.
So he's got all access, all power. He's the best assistant, and he won't talk back to you.
Yeah, he's not
Lobot.
mouthy. He's not mouthy at all.
Just follows orders.
Plus, I don't
So
know.
one for
I mean,
Lobot.
Yeah, Lobot all the way.
You're going Lobot.
I'm going Lobot because he saves the day. Because sort of, I mean, Lando does because he controls them.
But I mean,
And I love that shot of him sitting in that chamber, and he just wakes up, and he's on.
Yeah.
Like
I'd
he's
like to know
almost
more
like
about him.
I'm wondering if Lando has a button there too that he can become an assassin.
Yeah.
You know, it looks that way, and so and plus, I don't think a Jedi can use the Jedi mind trick on him, like the weak-minded.
with
Yeah.
with
some kind of a
Jedi?
Yeah.
Bib Fortuna.
Yeah,
Yeah. straight away
Fortuna
it
was like, "I will take you to Jabba now."
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like,
That's a good point.
yeah.
Yeah, no, he
point.
was. That's my argument right there, which is Lobot. There's no point where you get to do this over Lobot. Lobot will be like, "Shut up."
The other
Yeah.
thing as well, though, if he's got all of the secrets of Cloud City, and Lando does betray it in the very end at the last minute, even if they had the injection going into his arm to get the truth out of him, he can barely say it.
Yeah.
So he's not going to betray you. He's like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Literally, I think. Have you
I want to
noticed-
hear your argument for Bib Fortuna now. If that's
Well, so we're Lobot, right?
yeah, you
And
gotta
look,
go the other way.
You have 1 point.
I'm sorry,
You're
I
making a point.
didn't mean to interrupt.
You want a point?
I was just bringing awareness that in Star Wars Rebels, it's the What's his name again?
The Nemodian
Seabot.
character.
Seabot or whatever his name is.
I forget his name. Yeah,
it's like Seabot or something.
Nedbot.
Seabot.
It's a Greedo-esque character. Nemodians, I believe, what they're called. Correct me if I'm wrong, internet. But yeah, he is too. It reminded me of Lobot. He is tied into like the Imperial mainframe. A lot of secrets they download on there. Well,
I thought that was cool that we see that again.
You all make great points, but I'm going to go with Bib Fortuna.
Oh, really?
Why?
Nice.
Yeah. The reason I'm going to go is if I'm hiring an assistant, I want to know that, it's great you're tied into the... I mean, look at that face.
He's a doorman. He's a doorman. Yeah. He's not an assistant.
He takes care of all the needs. He is going to go the extra mile. He'll go round up some slave dancer girls.
He's not carding them.
If Jabba kills one of them, he's like Bob Sugar and Jerry Maguire. What's the name of the hooker in Denver? You don't remember her name? I do. That's my job. Yeah. That's Bib Fortuna.
I like your argument now.
All right. So occasionally he lets in a Jedi, but
that was the ultimate downfall of a whole.
Occasionally a guy slips by the front.
Sure, one mistake, it's the entire.
Lobot. You imagine sitting there during downtimes trying to talk to Lobot.
Yeah.
When you're a boss, I'm a boss in my daily life. Sometimes I just need someone in my office to sit and chit chat with me because everyone else doesn't like the boss. So
I do like it has the mafia vibe with it, and so Bib Fortuna is doing a lot of things that is quite like something that he's doing the dirty work.
He's a consigliere to Jabba the Hutt, there, the vile gangster.
Is he a Twi'lek?
He's a Twi'lek.
There is something really, really disturbing about a flesh-colored Twi'lek.
Yeah,
right.
And those eyes,
and all the women Twi'leks are gorgeous.
Yeah.
They're the most exotic creatures in the universe.
But this guy just is like a deformation.
Every man Twi'lek we've ever seen, male Twi'lek, is not a looker, but which is another thing, because then I know he's not going to try to supersede me with his own good looks.
Okay,
he's going to be held back.
I want to poke a hole in your argument here, which is
go.
Do we remember that if he is such a good assistant, why does he get fired like right in the beginning of Jedi? Because 3PO takes over the translation duties. Remember?
But
he gets shit-canned right there.
Fickas, he's too busy running the palace. There's multi-levels that you got to run. You got to make sure the droid torture chamber's working.
Poor power droid.
Will serve Jabba on the sail barge. Like, that guy's got to answer to someone. It's Bib Fortuna running that stuff. He doesn't have time to translate.
He's got his hands dirty.
That guy has more power than Bib.
Mind you, I did notice that the critical error happening in Jabba's palace is the fact that he can be choked to death by things. He's brought his own weapon on his body. It's wrapping around his neck. All you have to do is pull that. He's a dead man.
So I
did that with the action figure, actually. I would try to stretch it.
I am going to stand by Bib Fortuna against 3 Lobots, but that's where we put it to you out in the Jedi Alliance fandom on our Facebook page. We will post up that picture tonight or after the episode's up, and you will weigh in with your vote. Lobot or Bib Fortuna, who is the better assistant? I'll take you to Jabba now. And we'll total it up next week on the episode. I stand my ground.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
I like your points.
Stand my ground.
Yeah.
I'm like the Brute Squad.
Yeah. You are more. There was a little more dark side in that.
Stand your ground.
Stand your ground.
Sorry.
It's good. All right. So that's that. A star pause. Hey, get it. Pick it. Do it.
Yes.
Oh.
It's 59-51.
Have we used that card before? Okay, you've got to help.
No.
I'll help you.
You're my only hope.
I'll help you. Because I do play Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Okay, we have not. We have not. I'll let you read the first one, Fickas.
Top one?
Yeah, 2 minutes or so, roughly, starting now. Here we go.
Who predicted that Luke Skywalker would soon be one of us?
Was it Vader or was it the Emperor? I thought the Emperor predicted it. Who's predict?
I think the Emperor.
Okay, the Emperor.
And the answer is, I'm sorry, the Emperor.
Wait, I'm confused.
Don't show him the answer. Don't show him the answer.
One of us, Jedi.
Second question. What did Han, Leia, and Chewbacca don before stepping outside the Falcon in the asteroid cave?
Their masks.
The breathing masks.
Yeah,
right?
they're...
Yeah,
atmosphere.
That's right. The breathing masks. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. This next one. Shouldn't even be on.
Are you kidding?
No.
There could be a trick answer. Yeah. Who killed the Emperor?
I mean...
Vader.
Yeah.
Vader.
Doug Vader.
Chad Vader.
Yeah, Chad Vader.
Chad Vader.
Yeah.
That could go with. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was going to say earlier, original screenplay of Return of the Jedi, Bob Fortuna. Did you know that?
Oh, Bob Fortuna?
No.
Yeah.
Bob Fortuna.
Okay.
Oh, you peeked.
Did we? Well,
I feel like we have.
I feel like we have done this.
I feel like the breathing masks I've heard because I'm a fan of the show and listen.
Oh, what are you looking for? What are you just?
I was going to read
away?
the first question just to see. I mean, I'm going to answer it anyway, but I just wanted to see if we'd done it because I
So
picked this up quicker than you do.
Do we have to go back and erase those points now?
Those questions
I
could have
think
gone
so.
this way. I never.
Okay, here we go. Who found Admiral Moti's lack of faith disturbing?
Vader. Are you kidding? I find your lack of faith disturbing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yep.
I always get scared
Wait,
with the
should we go
Imperial
into these
officers because
ones?
Oh
they
my
all
gosh.
blend together
No,
in
we
my
have, to,
mind.
we have to give them all. We have
I
to
know.
give
I
them
know.
all.
Ken knows
So the
it.
other ones are erased?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cut that out, JTE, would you? Thanks. What ship has a small retractable laser cannon hidden in the underside of its hull?
Is it the Millennium Falcon? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, uses it in Hoth.
The Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. We would have
2 for
accepted.
2.
We'll get out on the Falcon.
What did Admiral Moti describe as an ancient religion?
The Force.
Yeah, that's a new hope. The Force.
Yeah. A lot of Moti in here.
A lot of Modi. We got a lot of Modi.
He got choked for his
I always
name.
learn names.
Your
on these things.
sorcerer's ways have not fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your lack of faith. That actually question was tied to the
Yeah.
same question in
Same
the other
question.
card.
Yeah.
What did the rebels believe was vainly spread throughout the galaxy prior to the second Death Star battle?
Oh, yeah.
Come one more time.
Huh?
What did the rebels believe was vainly spread throughout the galaxy prior to the second Death Star battle?
Prior to the battle, what was vainly spread around the galaxy?
I think it's the Imperial Navy. They
Star
kind of
Destroyer.
because it was a trap later. Because they thought that the fleet was all over the.
The fleet.
I heard
The Imperial fleet.
Oh, you went off of my reaction, but I heard Imperial Navy and then I heard fleet. I think I'm not the judge here.
I think that.
So I'm
Yeah.
getting.
You did got it, yeah.
I was going to say, I heard
Is
Imperial.
the Imperial fleet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to see the Imperial
the
Navy
trap.
commercial.
Because then later on they come and there's the whole fleet. You know.
That was literally the trap.
That was the trap.
All right, this question. What species was Jabba?
It's a hut.
Huttese?
Jabba the Hutt.
Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah, that's correct.
You know what? That would have goofed me. I would have been like, slug.
Worm.
Worm.
Yeah, I would have thought it'd be something there.
I
All
just
right,
wanna
to go 6 for 6.
Yeah, I want to say
done this once
they got an
before.
easier card.
I think so, too.
I just want to know that.
That's all right.
We loosened it for him.
Okay. That's fine.
Oh, and Riley's going to know this too.
I know everything Star Wars. Not
Which
really.
film in the trilogy had its screenplay written by Lawrence Kasdan and George Lucas?
Go for it.
Well, he wrote both Empire and Jedi, so I'm going to talk this through.
Yeah.
Because Lee Brackett wrote the original draft of Empire, and then Kasdan brought it in. Was brought in. So I'm going to say Jedi. Yeah, Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right.
Trying
You were like making me nervous. I was like,
freak you out there.
6 for 6.
that was
for
kind of a
Maude.
trick
That
question.
was.
Maude
That was.
Reilly,
I would have
so,
thought Empire.
I
you
talked
are
it through.
at
57.
57.
Oh my goodness, I am climbing back.
You are close. You're
Up high,
in
Mom.
fighting range. You're in fighting range. Your strategy 2 weeks ago
I
paid
let you
off.
down. I
You're
let you
there.
I know.
59, 57. Good round.
You
Wow.
gotta stop throwing out bonus points. For...
Yeah. We'll have to hide those cards.
Feel
so,
free
yeah, don't
every
do it again.
show, Maude, to
Yeah.
just, you
Call
you
you?
can call a friend, call a
Yeah.
Riley.
Well,
Yeah.
and that brings up a good point. Last week we did announce that these shows are going to be start to go live, streamed on YouTube. That is still going to happen, folks.
Nice.
They're just working through some not technical difficulties. We're actually adding some technology to the studios here, so that will happen eventually.
We
so,
could literally do a phone a friend.
yeah,
then.
so literally
Yeah.
we
Nice.
could phone Mark Reilly or
Nice.
David
Or
Fickas.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
or Mark Hamill, yeah.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to move on to the last segment here on the show, which is our Forced On segment, which is where we each week take something from the Star Wars universe and put it up there for you guys to focus on. And since we had you two gentlemen here, as Riley plays with my lovable Christmas gift I got from a friend of mine, my Luke Skywalker bobblehead in an X-Wing.
I love
That's great. I haven't
They're
seen those.
good lips.
We wanted to have a bit of a roundtable discussion on the future of the franchise, the saga, Star Wars, since it's now in the hands of Disney and Episode 7 is 2015. It's going to be a giant year for this franchise, make or
It's
break
going
it.
to kick off with the Marvel comic book series, so that's where we're knowing that's going to go. First episode, 1 million copies as we've discovered, so I think that's going to be huge. We've already seen the new canon books coming into play, and that started November last year, October, September,
right after Comic-Con, September issue. Yeah, New Dawn and Tarkin,
and we're getting another one in March, and then the end of April. So there's another 2 books happening there. So this is just to buy our time, obviously, until December 2015. What's happening after that? We know that there's going to be spin-offs. There's a lot of rumors of we're going to see maybe an Obi-Wan, Boba Fett. We definitely have heard about the conglomerate of the bounty hunters.
Yeah, the heist
kind
of Death Star thing.
The plans.
I love that.
Episode 8, Episode 9.
I just want to see some Bothans, man.
I want to see many Bothans die.
I don't want to see them. Well, I mean, it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah,
because
right.
we've heard about it.
But that was for Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, this is the
Many
this is for the first Death
for
Star.
the first Death Star. Yeah.
I want to see some more.
Mothma,
I want to see some Mon Calamari happening. You know,
Some Captain Akbar, which was on the Clone Wars. So the question is, we got all this out in front of us, boys and gals. Looking at what they've done with Marvel, looking at what they've done, even what DC's doing now. This is now beyond just Star Wars that we knew and loved. This is a now tentpole franchise for one of the biggest studios in the world.
I think it's going to be successful. I think this Star Wars thing is going to catch on, guys.
Yeah.
do you think that they do know it's a good thing and they are going to apply the teats and milk it? Are they going to just absolutely milk it dry?
I think they already did that, and they're recovering from that. I think that's what the prequels kind of was, and I think everyone feels that. And I think George did say, "Listen, I'm either going to die with this thing or I'm going to pass it along," and he passed the torch. And I think he. You know, some people, I think it's a little strange that JJ does Star Trek and Star Wars. I'm more excited about Rian Johnson in Episode 8. I think that's going to be very exciting.
Agreed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think this is the recovery from some of prequel fatigue.
But now that Marvel has taken over, I mean, Lucas, there were the video games, LucasArts, but I think that Marvel, we've seen it already with the Avengers 3 parts.
Yeah.
All of the Avengers having their own trilogies. You know, that's like 18 movies hands down already.
That was the one thing I wanted to really put out to you guys to see what you thought is the expanded universe begins in the early 90s with Timothy Zahn's book. I read every word.
Oh, I love
Jedi
that.
Academy comes out. I read every word, and then this comes out, and the Courtship of Princess Leia comes out, and the Truce at Baccarat comes out. Next thing you know, there's like 20 books a year. I was
Vector
done.
Prime.
I was over. I was out of it.
Oversaturated.
Yeah.
Could that happen here? Because sometimes I have a little bit of fatigue already with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm more of a Star Wars fan, so I'm thinking, well, maybe would I be upset if every year there's 2 Star Wars films? I don't know. I could be bored.
It also depends on what those movies are. I mean, we don't know exactly what they're going to do, and one of the things that you guys were talking about, and even the SNL spoof kind of hints at that. But my biggest fear of the new movies, aside from too much handheld footage, which there's like one hint in the trailer, like that's the only clip of like the stormtrooper shot where I'm like, because I get a little J.J. Abrams like, hey, let's lock it down a little bit, and that's Star Wars style is a little bit more, you know, anchored.
With
wipes and stuff, a little more establishing shots, and hopefully he doesn't Abram it up completely. But my fear is, and I call this the Iron Eagle 2 thing, which is in the opening scene of Iron Eagle 2, spoiler alert, the lead character of Doug Masters dies. And it also reminds me, and that always reminded me of Alien 3, spoiler alert, Newt and Michael Bihn's character, like after everything they go through. So I'm really afraid that they're gonna off somebody early, and
like Han Solo.
Yeah, they've had their time.
My theory on this, I'm going to say theory a lot, is every recent movie that's done a reboot that has been purely about the children has been pretty bad. Like Indiana Jones, they tried to make it about Shia LaBeouf. Tron, they tried to make it about Flynn's kid. Die Hard's recent one tried to make it about John McClane's kid being the action star. I was like, they're Han Solo, they're Luke Skywalker, they're not dead. Like,
but you've already mentioned that it's time to pass the baton along, and I think that goes to the same.
It's going to be a blend. How do they do that? I'm not saying that all these characters have to live, but don't scream. Die. Don't Drew Barrymore scream it. Like,
I don't think they're going to do that. I think actually, because we're hearing it's Han Solo's movie,
Yeah.
kind of, right? Those are some of the rumors out there.
Yeah.
So,
But is it Han Solo's movie because it's the end?
is it the end?
That's-
Maybe. Does he sacrifice himself at the end? I would be okay with that, actually.
End of episode 8.
As long as it's done well.
End of episode 8 or end of episode 9, I think you can start, saying this is what happens. But if you basically conclude Jedi by saying this is the end, blam. To me, that is like that's okay. I have to like digest 30 years of of these guys lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
How well, financially we know it's going to work, but how well do you think these spin-off and standalone movies are actually going to work with characters that we don't know?
I think
That's
it's
tricky.
I look at it this way. The teaser is a good example of this for me. I was in with all the new characters. I was just in the world again, and it looked like Star Wars, not prequels, but my Star Wars. Sorry to own them, but I do. And then so
If you got stock, that's great.
I do have stock in Disney, so that is great.
Smart business decision.
Yeah. So
they're also going to be successful, guys.
Yeah.
That Walt Disney, he's got something.
they're onto something. I really just loved the world when I saw it and the new characters. I just screwed up a camera.
On my bag.
I know.
Cut
you
to
can
that
see
shot,
my
JT.
sweater.
Cut to that shot. SF Sketchfest.
So I think it's going to be. We had a little bit of discussion on Meet the Movie Press about the superheroes and whether or not it's going to die out. And I think what Marvel is proving is that they keep doing it well. I think that's the same thing with Star Wars.
I trust what Disney's done with Marvel, but
I do.
What do you think?
Well, I mean, it depends how fast they're churning these movies out because I feel like this whole catch-up game, quick, we've got to get this done by June of 2016. Go.
That's the Spider-Man problem.
That's
Yes.
it, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's not a great story, and it could look great, and it could be kind of satisfying. You're like, oh, great, I've seen that. I'm not going to see it again. And that's not what Star Wars is about.
Yeah. I don't want it to turn into like an Alien versus Predator thing, where they're just kind of throwing things out there.
So I just
That's
want
a
them
great
to
point.
nurture it. If they're going to release the movies, I don't think that quantity is better than quality, and I
Yes.
really
I agree.
want them to not muck around with this series. I think they've been an investment. It's for everyone's sake just to not turn it into a cash cow.
Would you be fine if they just announced we're just doing 8, 9, and 7, 8, 9, and then we'll see what's going on?
I think so. I mean, I think it would feed us in a certain way. It would be great. I do love the idea of the spin-offs. Again, it's like we don't know if that's true or not. The heist one. I know we heard certain things.
It's how they put them out though too, because we are also in a completely different world where we are consuming content in a totally different world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think 7, 8, and 9 should be the Chinese theater, go to the premiere, see the big thing, but there might be this might be a Netflix series or whatever.
Well, this is already
you never
happening.
know. That's
We've
what's
got the Clone Wars. We've got the Rebels. But yes, they're catered for kids. But why not have a series a little bit like this? Maybe a mini series or an actual series.
Indiana Jones Chronicles.
If they could pull back some of the design stuff for Star Wars Underworld and get that somehow to HBO, like you said, maybe it's a
that'd be
6-part
great.
series or something
Yeah.
like that.
That would be
I would
amazing.
totally
I mean,
be into
Game
that.
of Thrones is kind of wrapping up. Maybe
Yeah.
HBO, like that kind of
That'd be
well thought out production.
gosh,
$1 million
you do
an
that.
ep.
Yeah, and when things like Twin Peaks are coming back because of how we digest content now, that's that's fun.
But are you talking about just the movies, though?
Well, you made a point I wanted to jump off on there is the idea of standalones were interesting to me as a longtime Star Wars fan when they came out. However, I wasn't through get a Han Solo origin story, Boba Fett origin story.
I don't like.
Yoda
I don't
origin
like.
story.
Yeah.
It wasn't until we heard some secret months ago.
Yeah.
Hey, they're gonna they're gonna be doing this heist thing, and it's gonna end with them handing the plans to Princess Leia. You and I on the phone were like 10-year-olds. Oh my god,
That
that's
when
fine.
we
Then I
heard
was
that,
in.
yeah, I was in for that, and so that's jumping off of that. Like, I don't want to see a Yoda movie. Okay,
I don't.
I do
I
not
don't.
want to see a Yoda movie.
Will
a
I?
little
Yes.
Yoda.
I think we
will.
will.
I?
Yeah,
Yes.
We're all gonna see them. That's
Yeah.
that's the sad part. We're all addicted.
It's just dependent on, like, I do want to see an Old Republic movie. I would love to see an Old Republic movie.
If I read the books, maybe I would.
I mean,
like to
that's
see
on my
it.
list.
But it's the Old Republic with that old rumor that Snyder was going to do a 7 Samurai with Jedi. Like, I would love to see that. That's, to me, is like kind of like the heist movie
Well,
where
I'd
it's
like
like,
to see episode 1. I think that would be exciting. When is that coming?
I think the problem with doing origin stories is that, we have seen it when Obi-Wan, we've got Ewan McGregor now, and that kind of worked in a way. But if we do the origin story of Han Solo, someone else who's not Harrison Ford has to play Han, and I don't think that we would be able to deal with that.
I don't really want that either.
Exactly.
I think we've talked. I think I've on the fence and gone back and forth when they've said maybe Fassbender would be young Han Solo.
Sure.
How he got the Millennium Falcon and met Chewie. I couldn't
Winning it
stop
on
myself
Lando
from
on a
seeing
game of
that.
Sabacc.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
So I mean that. Yeah, but I
again,
don't know.
we make the jokes. We are all going to see these movies. They're
Absolutely.
all going to be
I mean,
successful.
you're
It's
not gonna stop
what
me.
do we want from them? And
I have this one thing that's come into my head, and it's because I am a big JJ fan. Yes, he's done this movie. He's going to have a little bit more time off afterwards. With this heist, I don't want it to be a movie. I want that to be a series, an hour long. I thought Alias was one of the best series on television.
Yeah.
For a strong
First 2
female
seasons
lead.
especially.
I thought that was great, and it is, in a way, like a heist. It's this CIA operative. So get JJ back on a series that we know he can do that's like Alias, but put in bounty hunters instead and Bothans.
Executive show run, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, these like 6-part Netflix things or 8-part things, like what Fargo was. I mean, that's not, look at Fargo, what a pure movie Fargo was. And then they were like, hey, let's go back in and do that. And I was like, oh, God, really? And I thought it was great. I think they did a great job with it.
What they did with True Detective as a 8-part series, and the fact that season 2 is going to be completely different. So, I agree with what you're saying. Are you...
It's just the balance.
Any of you three
Balance of the
overwhelmed by the connectivity of the universe that's coming out? Because, you had Rebels. You better watch Rebels, because Rebels ties to New Dawn. New Dawn ties to Rebels. There's a character that might be going to episode 7. Get this comic book because it's going to fill in.
I want a flowchart. I think we all need a giant flowchart.
I mean, we can handle Game of Thrones. We can handle some of this, right?
I agree.
Well, already we saw with Lobot, the character had the same headwear that we haven't seen in sort of like 22 years. But that's a little subtle tie-in as well. So I think if you don't want to miss anything, you have to consume everything.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's also like, that's like DVD extras almost to me, like, because I don't read all the comic books and I don't do it. So I'm assuming that the spillover will come from the top of the tent pole, which is episode 7.
We're 2 people that host a Star Wars show, and you guys are great guests, so we know we're going to absorb everything. But I know there's other people out there who are like, they're not going to read the comics. They're not watching Rebels.
My parents aren't, but they're going to see episode 7.
Dare they?
Yeah, I know.
And that's where I hope they don't. I don't know, because I am having problems with Rebels. Sorry. I just am.
No, I
it's
know.
not. You know what? I gotta go.
It's not hitting me yet.
and it's
Yeah,
also-
you haven't seen it yet.
You're right.
But it's also introducing new characters that don't really have enough. I think they're so separated from the Star Wars universe.
I love it. We were talking about it. You know, like the do or do not. There is no try. What does that mean exactly?
It's like, I don't know.
That's
Yoda
a
said it to
great.
me once.
Yeah, that's a great thing. I love it. But something's not right yet with me, like it was with Clone Wars.
We were not to out that we all had lunch, but when we were talking at lunch, you guys were talking about Jurassic Park and having that be something that you're afraid of the new one a little bit. Jurassic Park, the original one, and the original Star Wars both had characters, Jeff Goldblum's character in Jurassic Park and Han Solo in Star Wars, that kind of took the piss out of the whole universe. Like every time they did something silly, Jeff Goldblum or Han Solo would be like, "That's silly," and he said it before we could, and it was the missing piece of the prequels, which is nobody said, "Well, that's kind of weird," like because he was our audience, and they gotta just
there's a theory out there for prequel defenders that say that the prequels all were about upper crust people who spoke in that kind of manner, which you'll see it with Tarkin and Princess Leia and A New Hope, with the manner, the faux British accent.
I like that.
And so the prequels kind of address those people where Luke is a farm boy, Han's a scoundrel, and it provides exactly what you're talking about. It's our eyes into this world versus prequels. I mean,
and had Anakin been a 14-year-old snobby kid at the beginning, or a 17-year-old high school kid at the beginning, we would have had somebody going, "What is all this rich boy stuff? What is this private school you just brought me into?" And he would have been James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause, and we would all have seen it through his eyes, and then we watch him go bad, and it works.
Let's write that movie.
Let's fix that.
Let's pitch
hold on.
that.
Hold on. Say it again.
Are they doing those movies?
Yeah.
In answer to your question, though, with having the main movies and then all the other stuff, I think that the main movies is what you need to know, and then everything else is the exposition that goes into further details. So should you want to know why that lightsaber is that particular color, why they're doing that, who this person is, that particular person that had walked past in one shot but has his own 6 chapters in the book, I think that's what it is. I mean, that's why it's called the expanded universe.
I hope they don't do that Mace Windu movie that they were rumored to do.
Damn Mace Windu.
Well, I just don't.
Mace Windy?
I just don't see the need for that.
We were talking about we want to see Jedi Academy. I want to see them at the Jedi. Like, we never really saw them do any of the training.
We saw 5-year-olds.
Yeah, then
get slaughtered.
Yeah.
But wasn't that like the best part about A New Dawn was when Caleb first went into the academy, and that it was over. It's like, but that was really kind of cool.
Which, by the way, I thought everything I thought we were going to see in the prequels was basically the training. Like, oh, there's a school. Like, this is a world where there was a bunch of them. I mean, Obi-Wan makes it really clear
in the prequels.
Yeah, and it's like, it's also weird. Like, it looked like Yoda was like a substitute teacher. He was like filling in. I was like, why are you teaching? You're on the Jedi Council. What are you doing? You don't have to be the kindergarten teacher too.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Guest speaker.
Star, not there.
I had one. Can I make one more point? Because you were bringing up Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I've been laughing ever since the end of Sith. No one has aged worse than Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. Luke is 17 years old, right? In the beginning, he's supposed to be 17.
18 years old.
He went from Ewan McGregor, like handsome, rugged Ewan McGregor, to Alec Guinness in 17 years.
He did kind of nearly almost destroy and kill his protege.
This is true. So he's got stress. He's got like presidential stress.
And Tatooine is a harsh environment.
Absolutely.
The twin sons.
But I mean, he went from like 49 to 80 pretty quick. Sure. Actually, Alec Guinness was something like 65 or something
Mark Hamill's older now than Alec Guinness was at the time.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
This
Absolutely.
is crazy.
So there's our roundtable discussion. Again, bottom line is it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
It's going to be fine.
Now. We're going to see everything. We sit here on the show talking about it. We love it. I just wonder what the future holds in 10 years from now.
I think collectively we're all realizing that no matter how bad it is, it's still going to be better than the prequels.
Yeah.
Can I throw one thing out there? Because there were rumors about this. Episodes 10, 11, 12.
Yes, they had talked about that.
I don't know. I mean, I think that if it continues this way.
Look, if they introduce characters that are the younger characters, which I think they're doing a good job. I don't want to harp on Tron and Indiana Jones, but I like that they're no name. I mean, not no names, but we don't know. I mean, Ridley actually, she has a pretty no name.
She's pretty
So the fact that we're meeting new characters, and if these characters are people that we want to spend time with in the future, I keep going. I mean, why not? Why is our generation the only generation that gets it? At the same time,
we didn't want to spend time with Jar Jar.
Yeah, we didn't, and some people did. Some kids did, of course. But this is I like that these new ones seem like they're a little more for us, which is good.
Yeah. And they've got Rebels.
That'll spill down. That's how music works. There's kids still love the Beatles. It's all gonna work.
Yeah, absolutely. It will work. That's the lesson. Yes. The Star Wars thing might be around for a bit. So before we end the episode, we always like to pay tribute to a fallen person, character, creature from the Star Wars universe. So today we have a very special one. She was a private dancer, a dancer for Jabba. For today's In Memory, we pay tribute to Oola, Jabba the Hutt's very public private dancer whose gruesome end cleared a spot on the roster for the iconic slave Leia. While Princess Leia in a steel bikini became, understandably, a legendary pop culture image, let's not overlook Oola, the fiercely sexy Twi'lek dancer who learned her craft from some of the best dancing schools on her home world of Ryloth. Unfortunately, a strong combination of naive, youthful wanderlust and stubbornness led her to Mos Eisley with dreams of experiencing palace life. Legend has it that Oola and another Twi'lek dancer friend were taken captive by Bib Fortuna, but a Jedi Knight named Luke Skywalker attempted to free both of them on Mos Eisley. The friend escaped, but Oola stayed, wanting to experience palace life. She was a great dancer, a beautiful creature, a rose among the thorns of the vile Jabba's palace. But after being brought into the slug gangster's presence, she quickly learned that the palace life was now her prison. She danced every night, escaping to grand stages of Ryloth in her mind. Those comforting visions would be jarringly tossed aside whenever Jabba pulled on her slave chain and beckoned for her to come close to him. As Bib Fortuna told her, you will please him, even if his only enjoyment is watching you die. That turned out to be true, however. Let's give credit to Oola for being strong enough to find her inner strength to stand up for herself. She had had enough. She no longer wanted to be a slave dancer. She refused Jabba's advances. She stood defiantly. The cost was her life, but it paid for her everlasting freedom. Never again would Oola have to do something that she didn't want to do. Rest in peace, Oola. May you dance freely forever.
Oh, boy. Oh, that was hard.
You teared him up.
Oh, boy.
So,
Oola.
There were some special edition shots in there, too.
Yeah, absolutely. She was 22, Femi Taylor, excuse me, 22 when she shot the character, but they brought her back when she was about 36, looked almost exactly the same. She was a professional dancer. Wow. And her brother I forget his first name. I think it was Brandon Taylor, last name Taylor, was actually in the prequels and was in Phantom Menace. He was the Rebel pilot, or excuse me, Naboo pilot. Making the attack run with young Annie.
Oh. Which turned out to be pod racing.
Yeah.
This
just like
is
pod racing.
Oh.
So that
just cut back to Darth Maul, please.
Episode 19 of the Jedi Alliance on the Popcorn Talk Network. You can watch a show by subscribing to youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network. We have the other shows on there: Profiles, Guilty Movie Pleasures, Meet the Movie Press, Marvel Movie News, DC Movie News, Box Office Breakdown with our very own JTE. And don't forget the Schmoes Know main show live every Thursday, 6 p.m. PST on schmoesknow.com.
A shout out to our iTunes listeners as well. Hello. You don't get to see us, but that's fine. We get to feel you in our hearts. Oh, that's really beautiful. If you haven't rated and subscribed and reviewed, definitely do that one as well. And we have social media. So Facebook page, just search the Jedi Alliance on the Schmoes Know Network, and also on Twitter at Jedi Alliance SK, plus Instagram too for pictures.
That's right. Go to schmoesknow.com for more, and Popcorn Talk Network for more as well.
Thank you so much for watching and listening, because many Bothans died to bring us this information.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Christian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.